Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, and today I want to take just a few minutes to talk to you guys about Spider-Man #1 by J.J. Abrams, Henry Abrams, and Sarah Pacelli. Alright guys, before I get into this, last warning, massive spoilers for this book. If you want to read this book, go pick it up and read it and then come back. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to jump ahead, I'm recommending this book, okay? So if you want to read it, go pick it up and then come back here because there are going to be spoilers. So, here we go. We open the book up with like a huge battle that just happened in New York City, and Spider-Man has got his ass handed to him. It looks like he won for the most part, but he got his ass handed to him. And then all of a sudden Mary Jane comes up and she's trying to get him to leave whenever the bad guys show up. And again, massive spoilers, guys. Last time to dip out, Mary Jane dies. And it's brutal, man. Like, it's handled really, really well. It is heartbreaking, and because it's so early on in the book, it just comes out of nowhere. So after that, we then see like a kind of a slight, like, short wrap-up where we're at the funeral for Mary Jane, and we kind of see that people are talking about how, like, she died, but Spider-Man saved everyone. And then, boom, we cut to 12 years later when Peter's son, Ben, is in his teens and is in high school. So we pick up with Ben as he basically sees, like, this kid starting to get bullied, where, like, this bully is telling him to cry and piss himself. So Ben steps in and tries to, like, talk his way through it when the bully is like, "How's your mom doing?" And then we see from inside a classroom as the bully just gets thrown through the door. Like, obviously, Ben, at his age, is starting to inherit his spider powers. From then we get like Pete talking to the principal, and we notice that Peter is missing a hand and now has a prosthetic hook hand. So a lot has happened in this 12 years. Then after that, whenever Ben goes home, he has a little trouble with the door, mostly that his stickiness is starting to kick in, and he just destroys the door. Later on, after Aunt May comes home, she's like asking him what was up, and he's like, "I can't even tell you," which causes her to call Pete and be like, "Your son needs you, like, where are you?" And he's like, "I'm on assignment." Like, clearly Pete, as always, is dealing with just like nothing but just like a densely woven ball of neuroses. But yeah, so then we go back to Ben, and we see that he's actually having a nightmare about his mother, just seeing her drenched in blood, and when he wakes up, he's stuck to the ceiling, and he's screaming. And Aunt May comes in, and she's like, "Ben, sweetheart, don't worry, I'm going to help you down, and then I'm going to tell you something that you should have been told, and show you something you should have been shown a long time ago." So she takes him up to the attic where all the boxes of his parents' stuff are, and she tells him to look under everything, like under the letters, under the photos, and he'll find what he's looking for. And as he's digging through, he finds his dad's, like, torn up, battle-damaged spider suit. And that's where this book leaves us off. And it's awesome, guys. In case, like, you couldn't tell from me saying it earlier and the way I'm talking about it, this book is awesome. I highly recommend it. The writing by J.J. Abrams, again, like, there are certain things that, like, diehard Peter Parker fans who just want to see Pete in his, like, normal status quo probably will not like. We just recently got Mary Jane back with Pete as a couple in the comics, and in this book they're killing her off. But because it's J.J. and what he's doing, I have a feeling that, like, the story's going to be worth it, and because it's out of continuity, it's fine. So again, the writing is really, really solid. The moment where Mary Jane dies, there's this, like, thing of, like, oh my god, like, she's just like, "I can't see you, Tiger," and it's just heartbreaking, as well as, like, the scene at her funeral where, like, Spider-Man saved everybody except for her. Like, that's so heartbreaking and so cuts to the core of all of the insecurities of Peter Parker Spider-Man. It just works so frickin' well. And it's one of those things where, like, we obviously don't want to see Pete having given up being Spider-Man and kind of ignoring his son and doing all these things, but at the same time, you can tell that this is rooted in the kind of idea that Mary Jane is everything to Peter, and, like, kind of like Spider-Man Reign and a few other older stories before One More Day, where, like, the idea of being Spider-Man without Mary Jane was almost impossible for him. So yeah, the writing is really, really solid. I really enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. There were several moments in the book where I was like, "What? Say what? Say what?" It was really, really fun. The artwork is absolutely fantastic also. It has a very kind of indie almost vibe to it that, because of the different nature of the story they're telling, like, the artwork just works really, really fantastic. Like, the colors are great also. Like, you definitely have a lot of really brighter colors, but because of the subject matter, they've muted those colors a little bit, and I imagine as the book goes on and we start to see Ben become Spider-Man and come into his own as this character, or see him start to pull Pete back into being Spider-Man, we will probably see those blues and reds and like classic iconic Spider-Man colors really get pumped up. So yeah, all in all, guys, I really, really enjoyed this book. Go pick it up. If it's not on your pull list, put it on your pull list. It was awesome. But like, this Spider-Man book is awesome. It's different, it's unique, and you know, like, it's not really so much about the book, but it's solid enough even on this first issue. It's got J.J. Abrams, it's Spider-Man. I wouldn't be surprised after Tom Holland manages to wiggle out of his Sony contract, because let's face it, he doesn't want to be Spider-Man for Sony, he wants to be Spider-Man for the MCU. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony approached J.J. about making this into a movie, because it's 12 years in the future, you have a different Spider-Man, you have all the things inherent to the Spider-Man lore people know and love, and that through all the other movies people are familiar with, but you're subverting it and giving us a new Spider-Man, and it gives them a way of doing like a new, unique, fresh origin story while also paying tribute to all the things we love. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on this book. I really enjoyed it. If you check it out this week, let me know down in the comments below what you thought about it. If you like this video, please leave a like and share and subscribe so you can check out all the cool content I'll have coming out in the future. Right on, guys. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good one. Nerd Scum. Out.